All right, welcome in. It is Thursday. It is time for another episode of Total Bases. The OCD crowd can rejoice. We're going to do all 7 games. We're going to do them in order today. So we're just going to start with the day games, go right through to the night games, hopefully find some winners. Tokyo Brandon, I kind of was staring an 0-2 in the face yesterday to start my day, so I battled back to 2-2. So I split, I lost juice, but that is something that is a 2-2 that I will gladly take because I was pretty much 0-2 out of the gate. So I'll live with it. How was your Wednesday?
Bad. I lost my 5% on. I had the Red Sox, and I broke one of my capper rules because I liked Sonny Gray so much. I broke that rule. You know, when a team's down, when a team's up 2-0, they pretty much throw the game, and that's exactly what Boston did. So, way to support your best pitcher, guys. He had a 9-2 road record, and you can shoot that down. Nice playing. At least I didn't have Tanner Scott, though.
Listen, we didn't have. I guess we didn't have the best show yesterday. I saw us getting some hate in the comments, probably much of which was directed toward me because I had, of course, the 4% play on the Tigers that ruined the parlay real early in the day. But you know what? If you go back to the replay, Bryan Leonard, you will see the shock in my face because so few times have I asked Tokyo Brandon that question and has the answer been bad this year. Like normally I ask him, it's like, I went 3-1. I went 4. I hit all 5 of my bets. So, hey, it's going to happen sometimes. Bryan, how was your Wednesday? Did someone have a good Wednesday?
Well, I went 3-2, but they were all smaller plays. I just didn't like yesterday's card. You mentioned Detroit. I had Detroit, and I also had the under. So split those out. Oakland, Sacramento, Oakland, Vegas, whatever the A's are, helped me out last night with a nice underdog winner. So, people have talked about how could you play this team? How could you play that team? Baseball is so different. A week ago, Cleveland looked like they were done for the season. Now they've won 7 straight games. Now they're 2.5 games out of first place, and they're in the They're in the wild card race. So it doesn't take long to turn things around. You've got to look at everything in the long run. And Boston lost. I would have leaned that way myself. He's been very good on the road, and no, I don't believe that they don't win on purpose. But you get a little satisfied sometimes.
Every team that was 2-0 lost yesterday. Every single one.
So we've talked about that. Yeah, there's something to it. Yeah, there definitely is.
There is something to it. I maybe throwing the game is a little overstating it, but you know me, Bryan.
Oh yeah.
Jeremiah, the client play I promised I actually gave yesterday on the Tigers, so I'm glad you missed it. Whoever in the comments was like, Trig, how could you bet on this Tigers team? They are lifeless. You were 100% right. That was as lifeless of just that was 9 innings of just atrocious at-bat after atrocious at-bat by the Tigers yesterday. Very, disheartening from them. But you know what? Yesterday's in the past. As I've said, it's a new day. We're all 0-0 for the day, and we're going to go right down the list. So if you came here for a certain game, you're going to get that game. We're going right in order, Bryan, which means we're going to start today off in our nation's capital. Rockies, Nationals, 2 teams that are pretty much out of it, I guess, playing for pride at this point. Contracts. Both teams, I think, are building in the right direction. Where this game in years past has been sort of just a disaster. Whereas, I think now both the Rockies and the Nationals at least have some momentum going in the right direction. So Gabriel Hughes for the Rockies. It looks like Jake Irvin for the Nationals. Kick us off, Bryan. How do you see this one?
Yeah, this is 2 teams still giving it all. And, hey, that's all you ask for. You mentioned Detroit. The pitching was great for Detroit. That's what we expected. It just didn't have any hitting. We've got the Colorado Rockies with Hughes against Irvin. The wind's blowing out a little bit. in this one. So it would not surprise me to see some runs, and the lines maker is feeling that way too, as they've got a 9.5 here on the total. But we've got Washington and Irvin about a 120 favorite. And he's not somebody I'm looking to back in the favorite role, although, they are playing the road Rockies, who have not done well over the years. But the Rockies right now, you take a look at their lineup for 1 to 9. Tovar and Norby are hitting pretty well. That Norby pickup was a really nice ad. I've always thought that was a guy who is in the right environment could be a decent player. And he's played pretty well for them. He's ranked 18th in the last week in hitting. So but the top of the order is not average, nothing great. They did get Hunter Goodman back from the IL, and he's caught the last 2 days. That's why they've been winning, because he's such a big bat in that lineup. But we've got Gabriel Hughes going, and he'll be going here for Colorado. You take a look at what his game log is on the season. He's got a 46 average game score. And in fact, if you take a look at his last 4 starts, none of them have been better than 46. They played Cleveland, San Francisco, Arizona, and Tampa Bay. So he's not really a guy I'm looking to back either. But, the line is there for a reason. And with the total of 9.5, it's something that keeps that in mind. But Washington is a team that, they've lost some of their players over the season, but they're still some pretty good hitting team. Slightly to the over here, but you're going to need to score 10 runs. And even though I think they may, that's the way I would look at this game. Nothing strong enough for me to give out as a release.
Tokyo Brandon, this won't be avoiding a sweep, because this is actually a 4-game series. You nailed Monday's game. I believe you gave out the Nationals as a best bet for the show. They won by 10, and the offense, I guess, just stayed in Monday. They haven't hit anything since. They lost back-to-back days. That being said, not the worst spot for them here. Do you think the Nats bounce back and split this series?
Yeah, even Abrams looks bad, which is surprising. That team looks bad. But, the Rockies are a pretty bad team as well. So we got kind of 2 bad teams battling again. I think Irvin's the more established pitcher, which I almost feel strange saying that when he's 2-8 with a 5+ ERA. But he seems to be the more established starter. 2 bullpens ranked 21 or worst, but 21 is better than 26. So that's Washington, check. And both teams hitting 25. So, wow, real bad. I would go back to Washington today if I had to bet this game. I think it's more like a bounce back thing for me, although I don't situationally spot like that usually. But Washington's a better team in my opinion. So they should be able to bounce back with the more established starter.
Tokyo Brandon, was exactly my thought when I looked at this game this morning. I'm rarely am I looking for spots to, back Jake Irvin. But I looked at the 2 teams. I'm like, at least Irvin is like a kind of like a veteran, like pro type guy. Last couple times out, he's given up like 4 runs, but he makes it 6 innings. Like he's probably not going to go out there against a team like the Rockies and just get completely destroyed. And that may play here. Something that we've talked about quite a bit since the All-Star break, the Nationals bullpen is much improved. This was a team that was winning games in spite of having the worst bullpen in the league for the first 3 months of the season. Now they actually have a bullpen. And, you talk about someone like Gabriel Hughes, he's a younger guy. Last year, 105 innings was the most in his pro career. This season, he's got 46 in the minors. And so he's starting to creep up toward kind of his max innings as a pro. He's looked at, I've watched a lot of this guy this year because, like I said, he spent more than half of his season down in Albuquerque. He kind of looked a little tired the last couple of times. This is a guy that I felt like was probably their best pitching option from a starting pitching standpoint for a little while. But the last couple times out, he's gotten roughed up by the Diamondbacks, the Giants, who are not a good offensive team, Last time out, I guess he navigated 5 innings against the Guardians, but that was, kind of when the Guardians really weren't hitting anything. I guess now they're winning, but it's not a great offensive team. And then the start August, 5 runs against the Rays. So he hasn't had a good start in a while. I kind of think I'd rather have the more tried and true Irvin at home. Yeah, I like the Nats. This actually might be my parlay. Like, I'm going to wait till the end, but the Nats make sense at this price. I think it's what,
I almost did it
minus 125. Yeah.
We'll fight for it at the end. I was thinking about
yeah,
it
we can. Well, it'll be there for someone at the end. Yeah, I'm going to I may like something else, but hey, there's only 7 games. The Nats look pretty good today. I think they level up this series for sure. All right, let's go to, I believe we've got an MLB debut in our next game. Another day game. So there's only a couple of day games today. We just hit the first one. And the second one is going to be the Orioles. They're taking on the Cardinals. Bryan Leonard, I thought I saw we might see the MLB debut of Connor Jerpy today, I believe is how you say his name. I have to double check that. Do you have a so this looks like they are going to call up former first round pick, so 2022 first round pick Cooper Jerpe, Hjerpe, to make his major league debut today. He's a lefty, and I'll give you my quick thoughts on him. He was hurt all year last year. Believe he missed the entire 2025 season, got in very late this year. So got to AA. So he had a couple rehab starts in like A ball, got to AA, kind of got hit hard, got to AAA and just turned in like 4 incredible starts at AAA. So I don't even know what to think here, because you're going to see his AAA numbers. Guy's got like a 0.67 ERA, a sub-1 whip, but it's only 4 starts, and the 5 starts prior that were in Springfield were not great. So what do you make of that, and do you have a way into Orioles Cardinals?
Yeah, I believe that's how you pronounce his name, even though it sounds like there should be a G in there somewhere, but it's not. But yeah, he's a lefty, and you know how I like to play lefties the first time through the league. That said, he's only the 28th ranked prospect in the system here for St. Louis. And if you take a look at the St. Louis starting pitchers, they've got down in the minors, got a ton of injuries on their pitching staff down there. So yeah, it may be a situation where he's getting the start, but I'm not sure he deserves it. And that is a little bit of a concern, because you're going up against a Baltimore team who has got an ace on the mound, and he's been great all season long, and that's Trevor Rogers. And to get him in this price range is kind of a bargain. You take a look at Trevor Rogers on the season. He's been just as good at home as away. Nothing strange there. But his game logs, he's at 52. League average is about 50. But the last 2 times out, 58, 53. Those are both against Tampa Bay. And for him to face Tampa Bay 2 starts in a row and get even a little bit better in the second start tells you how good he's been. 53 the first one, 58 the second. And but he's a guy who, you go back all the way through probably 10 starts, he's only had a 44 and a 43. That was his worst start. So you get consistency out of Rodgers now. And that is something you're always taking a look at when you're handicapping these games. What are the chances of your guy pitching similar to the way you expect him to be? That's something that is important, and it really doesn't been talked about very often, because you have certain guys. We talked about it with Williams just the other day, a very consistent starting pitcher, and then gets blown out. It happens to anybody, but some guys just seem to be blown out more often. And it makes it a really hard handicap when you're not going. When your guy's going to get blown out, it changes your entire handicap. From a bullpen standpoint for Baltimore, they did have to use a lot of the bullpen yesterday, but overall, out of the last 4 days, they're in very good shape in the bullpen. Hitting wise, the Baltimore team right now, Pete Alonso has been hot as hell. He's the number 8 hitter on the season, number 4 the last 4 days. Imagine what the Mets could do if they had a first baseman DH like Pete Alonso right now. That was he started slowly going to his new team, which happens a lot. I talked about this early in the season, especially guys that signed big contracts going over to another team. But yeah, he's been everything that Baltimore could ask for. Right now, we're looking for Baltimore on the road here. They're basically a 120 favorite with a total of 8. 7.5 to the over in some places. But if I'm going to play anything, I'm going to play Baltimore. But it would be, as Brandon just said, going against something he normally trusts. That's the thing at St. Louis is I like those lefty starters that nobody knows about. I'm just not sure he's really somebody in the near future, the next year or so, that they're expecting to be in the rotation. Who knows? But it may be a game I sit back and look at. But that line on Rodgers looks awful cheap to me, even though I don't know if I'm going to get there.
Tokyo Brandon, so Jerpy, I'll have to look up and see if I'm saying his name right. But in the minors, you used to bring up, you used to have your chronic walker list. And like, if I'm looking at concern here, so across AA and AAA, he's only thrown 29 and a third innings in both AA and AAA this year because he had an injury that bled over into this season. So his season didn't start really until like July. Couple rehab outings at the low levels in like Palm Beach in June, but he really didn't start pitching in AA, which is probably the level that he was probably would be in if it wasn't for some injuries at this point. So 29 and a third innings. This is the concern here. 26 walks and a hit batter. So that's 27 free passes in 29 and a third innings. The good side of that is the batting average against in AA was a $160 and in AAA was 152. So at the big league level, a lot of times they'll expose guys that can't totally find the zone. That, AA and triple, especially AA, they swing at everything. AAA, they swing at more, but big leaguers don't help you out as much. So does that factor into your handicap here?
So this looks a lot like yesterday's Boston game to me. Who would have thought Ryan Gusto, Sonny Gray? Oh, no contest. And then Ryan Gusto comes out and pitches like Greg Maddux for 7 innings. Who expected that? After giving up 14 earned runs in his last 4 starts, he tames Boston's lineup 2-0. What was it? 4 hits. And then Boston dropping the ball 4 times helped a little bit as well. So, hey, anything can happen. Trevor Rogers is only 8-9. He's not Superman. He is a good pitcher, though. I agree with you. Yeah, I'm going to buck the trend. I would go with the Cardinals here. I had the Cardinals for 2% yesterday. When they came back from 7-0, I thought we had a chance, and then they just disintegrated at the end of the game. So the red flags here, though, the Cardinals have an awful bullpen, as we saw yesterday, and they're starting a guy who has 0 experience. So yeah, red flags. I'm probably not going to play it. To be honest, I wouldn't put money on it, but I look for the Cardinals to maybe keep it close here. And if you keep it close, you can win. These are big leaguers, right?
Yeah, it's such a wild card, this pitcher, because they've never seen him. If he goes out and gives them 4 good innings, it's tough. But Brian, to wrap this one up before we move on to the next game, I think Rogers has been such a dog for the Orioles. I had the Orioles last time out in his last start. The Orioles did win that game. He didn't even have his good stuff early in the game, and I've seen this a couple times with him now this year where he doesn't have his best stuff. He battles and gets out of the jam, and then all of a sudden it's the 7th inning and he's still out there. And that's something that you just don't see a ton of in the majors these days. You get a guy that can make the adjustment on the fly and then get through like 6 or 7 innings. Those guys are invaluable, in my opinion, and could definitely be the reason the Orioles win here. So yeah, interesting game. Good conversation on this one. Big Daddy Cornfed, I gotta talk about this for real quick. I would not trust AA numbers more than AAA. And the reason I wouldn't is AA is all prospects. So you're getting some stud players. AAA is professional baseball players. Guys that are in AAA have been pros for a long time. They might not have the God-given ability to be in the majors, but they're pros. They have professional at-bats. They may have been in the league for 10 or 15 years. Might be a lot of those guys at AAA were in the league, and now they're in their 30s, but they're still good enough to play at AAA. I think AAA is a far better barometer of what a guy could potentially do at the next level than AA. Just way too raw at AA to, in my opinion, properly evaluate someone. And that's just my opinion, but I watch a lot of AAA, so I wanted to throw it in there. He says, gratitude towards your gentleman for your time. We appreciate you, and I wanted to give you an answer on that because, again, I would put more stock. If someone has a large sample at AAA, I think it means a little bit more than AA. But, Brian, as you know, it's all, it doesn't, once you get to the big leagues, it's a different animal completely.
That definitely is. And AAA's guys that have been there, done that, they're a little bit older. So yeah, I'd agree there. Getting back to our original first game we talked about, after a couple of it talked about like in Washington a little bit, and then Washington just got hit. So everything's gone up about 10 cents. I'm seeing upwards of 140 now on Washington.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, some people tend to like that as well, and they're getting ahead of that number.
That's the Total Bases show steam right there, Brian. They watch the show, they listen to the opinion, and then there's a 10-cent move. It's actually happened quite a few times.
It has. I don't know if it's us, but yeah, somebody's out there at the same time betting these.
AAA baseball Brian. Is a lot like the movie Major League with Charlie Sheen. That's what AAA baseball is in its essence. Even though that team was supposed to be a Major League team, that's a AAA team right there.
Yeah.
You've got guys, listen, the difference between AAA now than it was years ago, like these guys are making pretty good money now. Like you have guys that maybe would have hung it up in their mid-30s that like if they can go out and play 3-4 more years of AAA ball, they're doing it because when Major League Baseball took over in like 2021, the salaries have gone up considerably. Like these guys are actually, once you get to AAA, especially if you're on a 40 man, like you're making pretty good money in AAA these days. All the ballparks have been upgraded. It's so much better than even it was like 10 years ago.
Just want to throw that out there though, because that movie reminds me a lot of AAA. You got the older veterans, the younger guys who have a little experience, and a big mix of a lot of guys with experience. So yeah, I totally agree with you. Although you watch AAA a lot more than me, so I'll give you that credit.
And Big Daddy Cornfed, yeah, great movie. And that one never gets old. There's a bunch of them that never gets old. That one is certainly one of them. Can turn that on anytime. It's always going to be good. Speaking of a veteran that's been around for a while, Brian, let's go to this Astros-Yankees game. Garrett Cole is someone that I really thought could regress this year. He's getting up there in age. He's had some injuries. I thought this was, and of course, every move gets dissected when you play for the Yankees. I was not expecting Garrett Cole to have a good season this year. I thought the writing was on the wall for a bad year, and he has gone out and almost in spite of like being hurt, maybe not having his tip-top best stuff at all times, has a 3.11 ERA, a whip, a 107 whip. He's looked great. He's almost like reinvented himself on the fly. He's been really, really good. No notes for Garrett Cole this year. He's been fantastic. He is probably, he's right up there. I would say Schlittler's probably the ace at this point, but he's probably 1B. And he's got the ball at home tonight against the Astros. So Astros, Yankees to you. How are you seeing this one?
Yeah. Coming back from injury, especially the injury he had as an older gentleman, didn't expect much, but I also didn't expect a lot out of Wheeler. And now we're seeing the opposite of what we saw out of Wheeler earlier this season. We'll see. Garrett Cole's got a lot of innings on that shoulder in his arm going back all those years. So he's doing well now. Hold your breath, Yankees fans, if he could continue to do that the rest of the season. I hope he does. I've always liked Garrett Cole. Wisnowski against Garrett Cole, a couple of righties. We're looking at about a 155 favorite here for the Yankees. Total of 8 to the over, 8.5 to the under. Wisnowski's Wisniewski's pitched pretty well. His game score is about a 53 so far in the season. I believe he had one under 500 start, but he's been somebody that they've had to use lately, and he's pitched pretty well for him. Garrett Cole, as we mentioned, he's very good at what he does. From a hitting standpoint for Houston right now, yeah, they're hitting pretty decent at the top of the order, but they've got some guys at the bottom of the order that are really struggling right now. They did get a couple home runs out of Diaz the other day, so that really helps. But Wisniewski's been pretty good. 144 in the season. He's ranked 90th overall. About what you would expect out of him. The bullpen has been used liberally all week long. Everybody should be able to pitch here, other than maybe Benasusa, who's pitched the last 2 days and took the loss yesterday in that game. But Houston team against the Yankees. Yankees got Bellinger back, and he hit that home run, and that definitely helps them. He's been back on the team now. This will be his 4th game back. And you take a look at their hitters. They've got a lot of guys that are hitting pretty well right now. Even though Ben Rice has really been bad the second half of the season, he's starting to turn it around last week, ranking 63rd. Garcia's been a tremendous addition coming over from Washington. He's 2nd in baseball the last week. Spencer Jones is starting to find it a little bit, and if he can find it with that kind of power, that's really good. And then Chisholm's not had a good year. Been very disappointed with Jeff Chisholm, but he's starting to hit right now too. So the Yankees bats are starting to come alive. They got Garrett Cole on the mound. The bullpen, they haven't used Bednar all week long. So Blackburn pitched yesterday, blew the save and got the win, but their bullpen's in pretty good shape here. I somewhat like the Yankees in this game, but I don't know if I want to lay that price. If it was 145, I may be interested in it, but right now we're getting 155s, 160 in a couple places. A little bit too rich for me, but it's something I'm keeping my eye on for the rest of the day.
Brian, you mentioned Spencer Jones. This could actually be a very good matchup for him. Right-handed pitcher that's not going to overpower you. He probably throws I think he kind of tops out at like 93, 94. And when Wisniewski misses, he tends to miss up. And that's just that's the kind of, if you watch enough Spencer Jones, big time velo and someone that can really locate, or a left-handed pitcher is going to give him trouble. It's going to, get the swing and miss. That's not really Wisniewski. And Tokyo Brandon putting Cody Bellinger back in this lineup, because remember when Cody Bellinger got hurt, they didn't have Luis Garcia yet. They didn't have Ramos yet. They didn't even have George Lombard yet, who was still down at Scranton. So you kind of insert Bellinger back into this lineup. Suddenly, Yankees lineup looks pretty good again. And I'm with you, Brian. Ben Rice is going to get going at some point again. I'm not sure I want to play against the Yankees right now. What about UTB?
Yeah, you guys, you can get a double play, 2 of your 3 favorite handicappers for 3 days, all baseball access. Adam's got a special for his football. I'm sure he has some other specials. Brian's got a full year special. I have a special for the rest of my MLB season. So go to WagerTalk.com and see what is available. There's tons of specials, especially now at the end of the month. So I'm not going to overthink this one. Better pitcher, better bullpen, better hitting, home team, better record. I don't see any reason not to take the Yankees. I think the number is actually quite generous, considering you've got Cole against Wisniewski. Yeah, Wisniewski's pitched quite well, but he's definitely not the pedigree of a Garrett Cole. Granted, Garrett Cole's getting a little up there in years, but he's one of those crafty ones. He's not gonna let it go that easy. He didn't look good in the World Series last year. That was the game where the Yankees actually completely blew up. But he's looked good this season. I don't see any reason not to take the Yankees here. If you don't like the number, take a -1. If they win by 1, you get a push. Any other win for the Yankees, you get a win. So I would knock 30 cents off by taking a -1 here and take the Yankees. Matter of fact, actually, I'll take them on the money line for my parlay play. We don't have to make good odds for the parlay leg. So I'll take the -156, Brian.
Yeah, 155. 155, I think is there.
Sure.
I would have used
that.
it. I might have used it myself because
it was
it's a
145.
small card and there's nothing I love at this point. So
Yeah,
155 is a decent play there.
I'll take it.
Yeah, I think to your point, Brian, the Astros have really faded. They were so hot in July, and the most of this month they have not played good ball. They've really they're sort of fortunate that no one else has been able to like truly take over in that division. They're still, I believe, in first place by a half game, but watching them the last couple of weeks has not inspired a ton of confidence that they win on the road. I kind of think one of the big lefty bats for the Yankees goes deep today. Like whether it be Bellinger, Jones, someone's taking Wisniewski deep today, in my opinion, because before that start against the A's, who, the A's are just the bottom of the barrel team, he had been giving up some hard contact. He had been missing spots, giving up some crooked numbers. It's a tough assignment for him, in my opinion, in the Bronx today. All right, we've got the Big Daddy Cornfed says he's got the Yankees minus 165 here. Well, if that's where you're pricing them, then 155 should be good for you. All right, let's move it along. I will bring something up. So yesterday on the show, listen, this is that sometimes doing this show early, like things change throughout the day. So I want to answer a question from someone on Twitter that said, Adam, you gave this breakdown on the show of Royals Blue Jays, but then you ended up betting the Blue Jays. What happened? And so it was quite simple for me. As I read throughout the day, it became more and more apparent to me that the Jays were going to go all out with a bullpen game yesterday, as opposed to use Simeon Woods Richardson in bulk, which is what I thought they might do on the show. Reason I say that, a couple of reasons. One, everything I read throughout the day suggested that it was a bullpen game, not necessarily an opener with Woods Richardson pitching bulk. Number two, this is where you just I've watched so much Blue Jays baseball over the last few years. I just put myself in John Schneider's shoes and said, how do I think Schneider's going to manage the next few days? I saw Noah Cameron on the slate for today, and we know that the Blue Jays struggle against left-handed pitching. I also see that Dylan Cease is going to pitch tomorrow. So I said, okay, he needs a win. The Jays came into yesterday 3 out of a wild card. Desperately need to beat Randy Dobnak. I'm sitting here thinking, you have to win this game. You have to beat the Royals with Randy Dobnak, knowing that you're going to get a pretty good lefty the next day, and then you're going to get the Mariners on Friday. And so I just rolled the dice. I wrote about this in the write-up. I said, and I remembered back to, he did this in the playoffs against the Yankees, I believe, where he was like, I'm just going to sell out. I need this win. I'm going to go to the bullpen in the second inning if I have to, and use every good reliever I have to win this game. It is exactly what he did yesterday. It worked out. That brings us to today. Listen, Bryan Leonard, Schneider got his win. He did what I thought he would do yesterday, but now it leaves him in a little bit of a bind today because it's Spencer Arrighetti who's not stretched out, and I have a feeling that this is going to be Arrighetti for 3 or 4, Simeon Woods Richardson for 3 or 4, and maybe someone pitching on back-to-back days out of the bullpen. Way worse spot now for the Blue Jays. Do you have any interest in the Royals, or do you think the Jays can get it done again here?
Yeah, the Jays with an 80 WRC plus on the season versus lefties is composed to a 97 in that regard versus righties. Yeah, I since TB took the Yankees, I'll use Kansas City as my part of the parlay here. We're looking at Cameron, the lefty, against Arrighetti, who either I've been fading all season long or I've been looking to fade. I did get off to that great start and then became what he has been in his major league career. Cameron's basically this is a coin flip game right now, 110 either way, something in that range, with a total of 8 to the over, 8.5 to the under. If you're taking a look at Cameron, he's got some incredible numbers here. On the road, his ERA is 3.33, which is very good. His batting average when he's on the road, batting average against 196, and his WOBA 255. If you take a look at his game log on the season, he's got a 52, which is better than league average. And if you go his last 5 starts, he started twice with Minnesota, 88, 85. Awesome. To do back-to-back. in that situation against the same team. It was incredible. Then he played at Dodger Stadium. Obviously, a very good hitting team. He had a 47, which actually isn't too bad when you're pitching at Dodger Stadium. Then he comes out at the Angels and blows them away. 97, and last time out, 61. This is a guy pitching better right now than he has all season long. If you remember last year, he was a guy that really came on like that. And we thought he was going to be going through some regression. And he did early in the season. But now you take a look at his numbers, you think, oh, maybe that guy's not a bad starting pitcher after all. If you take a look at what they have over at Fangraphs, he's the number 62 pitcher on the season. Number 4 the last 14 days, doing very well. And because of the situation yesterday, the bullpen really was helped out. Mason Black pitched 17 pitches, and that was basically it. So I like the Kansas City situation in this game. And when you take a look at the opposition here, you look at it, Toronto with Arrighetti, not a guy I'm really looking to back on here in Arrighetti. Toronto is a team that a week or so ago, they were hitting pretty well. Now they're basically league average. For the bullpen situation, you mentioned it. They used everybody yesterday other than Fisher and Samuel Woods Richardson. Now, Richardson pitched 21 on Sunday, 20 pitches on Friday. Yeah, I agree. He's going to be in the game today. He has been better coming out of the bullpen than he was as a starter. But to get these two guys there against this Kansas City starter, I think is a huge edge for Kansas City from the pitching department. And, hey, this was a team that was just on that big winning streak. What, they win like 8 or 9 in a row? And they lost yesterday in shutout fashion, I believe, if I remember correctly. So, yeah, if I'm playing anything today on this small card, it'll be Kansas City. And right now, let's just go with a minus 108 for Kansas City. They're all over the place. There's a 110 and a 113, but most of them are less than 110. So let's go minus 108 on Kansas City as my part of the parlay.
Tokyo Brandon, your guy, Noah Cameron, he's really come on strong after maybe a little rough start to his sophomore campaign. Are you getting involved with Noah Cameron here?
Yeah, I pretty much agree with everything Brian said, so I'll keep it short. But I do like the Royals as well, but I don't like their bullpen. I just can't trust it. I got them ranked 26 out of 30 right now. So I like Kansas City first 5. The more Arrighetti pitches, the more I like it. So if he pitches 3, I like it. If he pitches 5, I love it. That's where I'll go probably.
Well, here's the thing, and I'll just to play off of what you just said there. I watched the Blue Jays broadcast of the game last night. The announcers, great announcers, by the way. Blue Jays have one of the better booths there is. Straight up said, like, Arrighetti is not stretched out for more than, like, they said on the broadcast, like, he's not going more than 3 or 4 last night or tonight. Like, they basically said it's already known that he probably can't get past the 4th inning. So if I'm John Schneider, like, that's why he did what he did last night, because he lost the first game of the series, and he looked and said, if I don't win tonight, I'm going to have to beat Noah Cameron with my group of guys that simply can't hit left-handed pitching. And so I think what you're going to see here is Arrighetti, he'll go Woods Richardson because he didn't end up using him last night. And then if he's in position to win, he'll probably burn a guy back-to-back days. But if he's not, he's going to save his top guys and put him behind Dylan Cease tomorrow and say, okay, we worst case scenario didn't happen. We didn't get swept. And now we've got Cease on the mound and a team we're in direct competition with, and we'll win that one. Go ahead, Brian.
Yeah, I just wanted to point out the bullpen situation. TB's right. They have not been good all season long. But if you take a look at the pitchers they've got right now, I think they're filling their roles pretty well. Steven Cruz has been pretty good. He's a co-closer with Nate Pearson, who's been very good. They're actually their top 6 guys in the bullpen are pitching very well the last couple of weeks. They're starting to find themselves. Who would have ever thought somebody signing Craig Kimbrell again would get into a bullpen where he's actually pitching well? They've got a lot of former closers. Kimbrell, Lang, Schreiber, I always thought was a guy who is pitched pretty well for his abilities. Yeah, the bullpen is looking up for Kansas City right now. But, yeah, on the season, boy, they've been bad. But some of those guys have been out and sent to the minors. So a little bit different bullpen for Kansas City. I think this is probably their strongest bullpen group as they've had all season long.
Freebird says, good morning from Orange Beach, Alabama. He's always somewhere. This guy, he's always somewhere.
Got to be always somewhere, right?
He's on those golf, the golf beaches there. Honestly, I've never been to Orange Beach, but I've been to the golf side of Florida a few times. Without a doubt, the better side of Florida. My family has placed in Hollywood. I'll take that stance. I like the golf side better. That's just me. Where Kelly lives in Sarasota is awesome. Like probably one of the coolest places I've ever been in Florida. So yeah, I hope you're having a great time at the beach. Was just talking yesterday how I can't wait until it's cold out and he's at the beach. So, it has been like ungodly, like just like humid here the last few weeks. So I'm ready for fall. But a few hours away from me tonight. The Mets are at home against the Brewers. The Mets continue. They didn't do it last night, Brian. Kind of got blown out. Weird game. Like Dustin May got drilled with a line drive. Then suddenly the Mets were down 10 runs. So we're back here. The Miz is on the mound for the Brewers. And looks like it's going to be Sean Manaea for the home team. Brewers, Mets, anything for you here?
Yeah, you mentioned May getting hit yesterday. He's gotten hit by line drives a lot this year. It makes me wonder if all that big red hair, people with fear clowns, just trying to hit that clown on the mound, because every time I look, he's getting hit. It's amazing. Either can't get out. He's like me, can't get out of the way, or something's going on. But he's gotten hit as many times as he's hit or better. I'll tell you. But Mazeroski against Manaea here. Manaea, the lefty for the Mets. Mazeroski is about a 215 favorite here with a total of 7, slightly to the over. Manaea's been pretty good for the Mets. If you go back to spring training, he had no velocity. And his velocity is still not the greatest, but he's been able to pitch with it all season long. That's what a veteran pitcher can do. We were just talking about in AAA and AA. That's what guys that have more experience can make those moves. A guy in AA, he runs into a little bit of problems, and he hasn't had to deal with them before because he's always been so good. But Manaea is a guy that, hey, you got to give your hat, tip your hat to the older guys that can find ways to pitch when they've lost their velocity. Something that Mazeroski may have to deal with in the future. The guy's been terrific all season long. He's been fantastic. And I don't wish injuries on anybody, but how is the hardest throwing pitcher in Major League Baseball not getting hurt when everybody else does? It's unfortunately, you just see it happening. And I hope it does not happen until the end of the season, at least we can get Mazeroski in the playoffs. But anyway, he's been terrific. You can't say anything bad about him. But do we really want to lay over $2 on the road against a Mets team that's been pretty decent since the All-Star break? 7's low. 7 is definitely low here, but I don't know if I can play over it. So yeah, it's and once again in a card that I'm not in love with. I don't know if I'm going to get there on this one. With either way, I'd love to play the Mets and Mazeroski, despite having such a great season. Milwaukee doesn't always score a lot of runs when he's on the mound.
Yeah, Tokyo Brandon, I Mets plus 1.5, the even money's hanging out there. Certainly tempting. Until you realize you have to beat Mazeroski, which then it becomes a little less appealing. As you know, if he shows up and he's got his best stuff, that's going to be tough. But what Brian's saying makes sense. Low scoring games of Brewers are not really built, in my opinion, to just blow teams out. So there might be some Mets value. Brewers, Mets to you. How do you see this one?
Yeah, I made a mistake not taking the Brewers yesterday. That was a mistake. I really liked him, and I didn't do it because I didn't trust May. That was my mistake. Today, I probably won't make that mistake again. But the 1.5 is very valuable when you have two great bullpens like this. Both bullpens are out of sight right now. And like you guys both mentioned, the Brewers are not hitting home runs, but they're scoring a lot, which means they're a lot like Japan's World Baseball Classic team. They're just stringing it, and they just start paper cutting you, and you just bleed to death. So what a well put together team, and well managed. great bullpen usage, which not every team can say. So it'd be Milwaukee or nothing for me. I mean, I don't know if I'll play it at this price. I'll probably just sit back and just enjoy watching. According to my rankings, Mizorowski's the number one pitcher, but 5 teams have beat him, so he can be beaten. So an 82 win team against a 60 win team, it'd be Brewers or nothing for me.
Alex Rand, he says, seems like a trig plus 1.5 spot. Definitely does. You know what? I just pulled it up quickly. Mizorowski in 2 starts against the Mets, 5.87 ERA. There are guys on this team that have had good at-bats against him. There are guys on the Mets right now having good at-bats in general. Yeah, let's do it. That's going to be my parlay leg. I'm going to take the Mets plus 1.5. The fact that you can get that at even money or better, you get a run to work with, and then Mizorowski out of this game at some point suddenly becomes a much more even game. I've sung the praises of the Mets bullpen all year, and of course, all of those guys are available. Feels like it could be a close game. Brian, what am I looking at for a money line there, or I'm sorry, a price there on the plus 1.5?
We're looking at plus 1.5. Plus 100. Yeah, there's some pluses out there. You can get a plus 108 out there right now, but I see a few minuses. So yeah, plus 100. That's probably right in the middle. I will say, if you take a look at Mizorowski on the season, he's rated as number one pitcher at Fangraphs, and I don't disagree. His average game score 68, but on the road, he's been even better. Take a look at what he's done on the road. Against the Dodgers, 67. Angels, 74. St. Louis, 66. Atlanta, 65. Colorado, 73. Houston, 84. Cubs, 76. Washington, 76. Miami, 56, his worst road start of the season. And then Boston, 61. Very consistent on the road. And, it's going to be tough to score runs against them. But, hey, when you got a total of 7, and what it is right now, 7.5, 7. Yeah, it's not many runs to be scored, and I think the Mets can get a couple. Mets could get 3 runs. You probably got yourself a nice victory here.
Tommy, I see the numbers with Manaea. I don't think he's going to be, if he's not throwing the ball well, he's not going to be in this game long. The Mets have plenty of arms that they want to get reps, and they're not just going to push him super far into this game if he doesn't have his best stuff. They'll just use bullpen guys, which I do actually like. That being said, if you think Manaea gives some up, that over might get there at, it being only 7. If Miz gives something up, if they both give something up, it's probably going to go over 7. It's another way you could look at it. We got boots on the ground in San Francisco tonight. I absolutely love that. Listen, we'll go long if we have to. There's 2 games left. I told you guys we were going to get all 7 games on the show. We will do that today. So Brian, 2 more games to talk about. This has been our feature for most of the week. It is, I believe, a national TV game tonight once again. And once again, it's deserving of that primetime spot. You've got Yamamoto and Chris Sale. Dodgers, Braves, potential playoff preview. Kick us off, Dodgers, Braves. How do you see this one?
Yeah, 2 great pitchers, Yamamoto and Sale. Sale the lefty. Sale's about a 120 favorite right now. 6.5, slightly to the under. You don't usually get Yamamoto in the Dodgers in an underdog role getting plus money back, but it's plus money everywhere right now, upwards of 110 in that regard in some places. Yamamoto against Sale. Yamamoto for the Dodgers, been very good. He's currently ranked as the number 7 pitcher on the season, number 15 in the last week. The Dodgers getting some good starting pitching the last couple of weeks. 15, 32 for Skubal, 11 for Snell, and Glasnow pitched pretty well in his first start. And Sasaki helped pull that blister. They've got plenty of bullpen guys. Tanner Scott's been used the last 2 days. He's taken a loss both days after I talked about him. Sorry about that, TB. But they're in decent shape for the bullpen from a hitting standpoint. The Dodgers are doing what Dodgers do. Nothing great right now. Nobody's extremely hot, but the kind of bats that they have from the Atlanta standpoint. from a hitting standpoint. The top of the order is kind of struggling like little bit. Acuna's 353rd the last 7 days. He has not really done a whole lot since he came back from his injury. Matt Olson's been great on the season, but he's in a little bit of a slump. But from a hitting standpoint, I like the Dodgers a little bit better here. Chris Sale's ranked the 6th best pitcher, so we got the 6th and 7th best pitchers in Major League Baseball in this game. Let's take a look at some of Chris Sale's numbers here. Sale's his splits when he's at home. Let's check that out. Home 2.71, excuse me, a 1.65 ERA on the road, 2.71. But if you take a look at his actual numbers there, all the other numbers, they're pretty even. So he has really no home road dichotomy whatsoever here. And from a game logs, he's a 63. He's been excellent as well all season long. And he is now gone 6 straight starts in the 60s. So he's throwing the ball very well. 2 guys that I trust here in the total 6.5 though. 6.5 is too low. I don't play under 6.5, especially in Atlanta, which is a pretty neutral ballpark. But runs will come into. Let's take a look at the 1.5 here on the spread. If you like the Dodgers, you could take the plus 1.5 and lay like plus 210. If you like Atlanta, you can get the plus 1.5. And you're laying about minus $2 for you getting. So it's either way. You could take the underdog here and look for a 1-run game, and if it is a 1-run game, you get a nice payoff. So not too bad in that regard. But yeah, it should be a great game from the pitching side, and I do trust the Dodgers hitting a little bit better.
Tokyo Brandon, I had a very low score projection for this game, lower than I even expected to spit out. But that being said, you still 6.5 doesn't leave you much room for error, if you will. So my numbers suggest under, but that 6.5 is terrifying. What about you, Dodgers, Braves? How do you see it?
Well, Tanner Scott won't be sabotaging the win tonight. So if Dave Roberts had any inkling of a brain, he'd be using Vesia to close the games out because this is his best pitcher in the bullpen. I don't know, maybe someone's got a picture. He's stuck with Diaz too long. He's sticking with Tanner Scott too long. You gotta do something. But nevertheless, I think the Dodgers. You can say shoulda, woulda, coulda all you want. It doesn't matter. The game's over. But I think the Dodgers should have won both of those games. And I've got the Dodgers. First of all, I've got the Braves ranked 20 or worse in bullpen and batting. So they're not exactly exploding here. I've got my pitcher rankings pretty much what Brian said, like 6 and 8, 6 and 7, like that. But I think the Dodgers have a big advantage in the bullpen, and I think they have a big advantage in hitting. If they can just get a little motivated here, I think they're the much better team. You're telling me that Sale is that much better than Yamamoto? I don't see it. Maybe a first 5 under 3.5 would be another good way to play it if you don't like 6.5. Or
I
Braves team total under 3.5 might be a way.
I make the Dodgers a slight favorite in this game. So certainly, like, just based off that, the plus 110 or whatever it is, between plus 110 and plus 115 is appealing. The other thing, Brian, you've brought this up, like typically a very good off of a loss. And I think they've been, if you throw out that ridiculous losing streak out of the break where they lost like 7 or 8 in a row, I think they've been really good off of 2 losses. I don't think they've lost many off of like back-to-back losses this year. So yeah, the fact that you're getting the Dodgers at plus money after losing back-to-back games, I can see the appeal there for sure. All right, we've got one of our friends in the chat is going to this game tonight. Jealous. Anytime you guys are going to a
Awesome.
ballpark that I've never been to, instantly jealous. He's going out to see D-backs Giants, Oracle Park. Yes, Landon Roop did get pushed off a day. So when we did the show yesterday, Landon Roop was the listed starter. The Giants, it looks like they decided to give him an extra day of rest, and now he will start today's game against the Diamondbacks. I believe it's Jose Cabrera who's kind of bounced back and forth from AAA to the bigs this year. D-backs Giants. Brian, kick us off. How do you see this one?
Yeah, this one's about a pick 'em and a total of 8, slightly to the under. Yeah, I read the same thing about Roop yesterday. Roop's not been pitching that well, so it's kind of could see a reason to go against him. Arizona with Cabrera on the mound. From a hitting standpoint, nothing special right now out of Arizona. They got a couple guys hitting pretty well, but if you're taking a look at what's going on with the bullpen for Arizona, they're in pretty good shape. In the last 3 days, they've only had to really use 3 of their best guys one time in the last 3 days. So the bullpen's there, right there for them. And they were using just about anybody in the closing situation. Justin Martinez back in the lineup, I think, is a number or a guy. He and Garcia are going to probably close it out for him. But their bullpen's looking pretty good in this one. And they're still missing Ketel Marte. He is supposed to be back soon. So that will hopefully improve their offense. But yeah, we've got Arizona here, and we're going up against San Francisco with Roop. San Francisco is a team that I don't like using them in the favorite role. It's a pick 'em situation here, but from a bat standpoint, other than Rafael Devers, who's on a nice run right now, the rest of the bats are pretty silent lately. And the bullpen, you take a look at the bullpen in the last week, just about everybody's had to be used every second day or whatever. So I like the bullpen much better here for Arizona in this game. And from a starting pitching standpoint, the way Roop has been pitching, I'm somewhat interested in Arizona in this one at this price of pick 'em.
Listen, the only, I guess, issue I have here is the fact that, like, Jose Cabrera has been getting absolutely mauled since getting sent back down. I don't know if he was pissed that he got sent back down. I don't know, and then suddenly he's uninterested being back in Reno. You've seen it happen before where, like, a guy that was pitching really well in AAA gets called up, then he gets sent back down for one reason or another, and suddenly it takes him maybe a start or two to get reacclimated to, whatever. Quinn Matthews had a bad one in this spot the other day, but I mean, this has been going on for over a month now. I mean, he's just been absolutely crushed the entire month of August down at AAA. Batting average against is like 300. ERA is like 7. So that doesn't inspire a ton of confidence for me. But Tokyo Brandon, I don't know. D-backs, they can hit, and the Giants, they're not a bunch that inspires a bunch of confidence either. So how do you see this one, D-backs Giants?
Yeah, this is an example where the book is overvaluing the starting pitching way too much. Landon Raup is 7-13. You telling me the Diamondbacks are 5-1 against this team? They have 20 more wins than this team. You telling me this is a pick 'em? I don't get it. I don't understand that at all. Too much value on the starting pitcher. If the Diamondbacks inexperienced youngster can hold the Giants to 3 runs, I don't see how the Diamondbacks don't win this game, in my opinion. Because Raup has horrible numbers against the Diamondbacks. 57 at bats against. He's got a 985 OPS. I mean, they crush him. So maybe an over would be a way to go as well, because I think the Giants can probably score as well. So either way, either Diamondbacks or an over would probably be how I would go.
Yeah, the other thing I would, I guess this is a little bit contradicting of the over. I first of all, TB, I agree with you. I think over 8. It's only 8. Like it should definitely be. I have it closer to 8. I actually have my projection is 9. But right, very like a shade under 9. I would have made this 8.5. So I definitely see overvalue here. The only issue I have with Arizona is they've hit right-handed pitching so much worse than lefties this year. And one of the guys that would help them considerably against a righty is Ketel Marte, and he has Ketel. I'm sure someone's going to get mad that I said his name wrong. I've only been doing it for a decade, so sorry about that.
They hit this righty pretty good.
Yeah, but like Marte is going to be one of your probably better bats in that scenario, and he's not there. So it's interesting. I do think the bullpens, if they get involved, could get hit. I think I lean Giants and I lean over. But again, that's an interesting one. And I hope our friend who I've lost in the chat here has a good time at that game. Regardless, go ahead, Brian.
Yeah, I just want to touch on a couple of things with Landon Roop. On the season, his game score is 52, which puts him better than the league average. But if you take a look at his last 6 starts, only one of those games has he been over 45. So he's not pitching well right now. TB mentioned him against Arizona on the season. He faced Arizona June 30th, and he got bombed. His game score was 14. The 2 starts before that was a 43 and a 62. So this is the 4th time this season that Arizona's got to look at him, and his current situation is worse than it had been in the past. Makes me like Arizona a little bit more in this game.
All right, quick rapid fire before we close it out. Freebird, first of all, thank you for the generosity. Hope you're enjoying the beach. I'm sure you are. He says, best show ever. What is the best team total today? Brian crushed it with the Brewers yesterday. So, Brian, kick us off, and we'll go around the horn real quick. Favorite team total on the card?
Yeah, we'll go back to the game we were just discussing, Arizona against Darup. Looking at 3.5 for the team total for Arizona. You're going to lay a little juice, 135. But to score 4 runs off of San Francisco right now, the way that bullpen is and the success that they have had, yeah, I think Arizona gets to 4 runs today.
Tokyo Brandon, team total to you.
The books are giving that 5 and 14 pitcher way too much credit. I agree with Brian. Excuse me. A Mets under or a Braves under would also be something I would consider as well. I know people don't.
I thought that Mets over was very low, 2.5 minus 110. Obviously they've got a hit Mizorowski, but you got 9 innings to do it essentially. I guess that the other thing I would maybe, if I'm not going to use Mets, I think, maybe the Jays find a way to stay under. You're getting plus money on that, or if you can find a 4 flat. They don't hit lefties particularly well, and they're going to be up against a good one here. But that, I think, if you pin me down, I would say Mets over 2.5. That'd be my opinion. It's 2.5 runs. You got 9 innings to do it, and they've got decent enough numbers against Mizorowski where, one hit with guys on or a home run, you're very close to going over that number. So that's just my opinion there. Alex Rand, he says, good morning. Appreciate each of you for the in-depth info you share. Bullpens, WRC Plus, etc. Number 1 show, hands down. Hey, we very much appreciate that. That's what we're trying to do each day. Come here and just do the best that we can. Find some winners for you guys. Do either of you guys have something on the site for sale right now?
Nothing for me as of yet. Still working on the card. Yeah, nothing for myself yet.
I have a couple things up right now for MLB, and I definitely will be betting Asian baseball tomorrow night, whether it be Japanese or KBO. So yeah, that's what I got. My Friday night Asian baseball show I'll be doing live as well.
I will quickly promote my NFL package because it's only going to be up for a couple of more days. Coupon code NFL100 get you $100 off the season. And it also will include the final week of the preseason, which resumes again tonight. 4-1 so far in the NFL preseason. I will be betting something at some point in the next 3 days. Not sure what it is yet, but we've picked our spots well. 4-1 so far this year in the preseason. So you get the NFL season and you get the rest of it. You get this week free. So check that out. Coupon code NFL100. All right, we've hit all 7 games. You missed any part of the show, there will be timestamps, and we've talked about every single game on the board today. The parlay we came up with is as follows. Tokyo Brandon's going Yankees minus 155. Brian's going Royals minus 108. And I'm going to go Mets plus 1.5. Even money. Those are all full games. So Yankees, money line. Royals, money line. Mets plus 1.5. It's your 3-teamer for today. And if we hit it, we'll be nicely back in the plus on the season. So let's get this one. And the 3 of us will see you in the morning for more Total Bases.